Over the decades, the movie industry has seen its share of horrific real-life stories, including the brutal murders of several beloved actresses. Join FactsVerse as we revisit the all-too-brief lives of 5 slain too soon. Sharon Tate. Sharon Tate was a stunning starlet who seemed on the verge of major stardom in the late 60s. With her blonde hair, blue eyes, and natural acting talent, many saw her as the next Marilyn Monroe. Born in Texas in 1943, Tate won beauty pageants early on. She studied acting with Lee Strasberg in New York and began landing small TV and film roles. Tate's breakthrough came as the lead in the 1967 cult horror film The Fearless Vampire Killers, directed by Roman Polanski. She soon began a relationship with the controversial director. Their romance grew intense while filming, and they married in early 1968. Later that year, a pregnant Tate starred in one of her most memorable roles in Valley of the Dolls. She earned a Golden Globe nomination for her performance as the tragic actress Jennifer North, but greater fame seemed imminent, with upcoming film projects opposite legends like Orson Welles. Tragically, Sharon and her unborn child would never get to fulfill their vast potential. In August 1969, the 26-year-old was brutally murdered by members of Charles Manson's cult. Along with 4 others at her Benedict Canyon home that night, Tate was stabbed 16 times by the depraved Manson followers. The gruesome murder scene with "Pig" scrawled in blood on the front door shocked the nation. To many, the Manson murders ended the era of free love and peace that defined the 60s. Tate's husband Polanski was abroad at the time of the killings, but was devastated and haunted by the loss of his young, vibrant wife and their baby. Lana Clarkson. Lana Clarkson was a statuesque blonde actress who appeared in various B-movies in the 80s and 90s. Born in Long Beach, California in 1962, Clarkson was drawn to performing early on. As a shy child, she would entertain her family by memorizing and reciting nursery rhymes. In her teens, Clarkson began pursuing work as a model and actress. She landed some small parts on television shows like Fast Times at Ridgemont High and The Jeffersons. Her most famous role was as the title character in the 1985 fantasy film Barbarian Queen. Standing 6 feet tall, Clarkson cut an imposing figure on screen as a fierce warrior woman. By 2003, her acting career had stalled. She took a job working at the House of Blues on Sunset Strip to make ends meet. It was there that the 40-year-old actress fatefully crossed paths with music producer Phil Spector one night in February 2003. Spector was well known for his wall of sound recordings and for working with bands like the Beatles, but he also had a disturbing history of violence against women. Nonetheless, Clarkson agreed to have a drink at his mansion after her shift ended. Tragically, she was found dead in his home just hours later from a gunshot wound through the mouth. Spector denied responsibility and outrageously claimed that Clarkson had killed herself, but the evidence told a different story. Blood spatter patterns showed Clarkson could not have shot herself. The trajectory of the bullet made suicide impossible, and 5 women testified that Spector had threatened them at gunpoint in the past. In 2009, he was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 19 years to life. Natalie Wood. Natalie Wood was a beloved star who transitioned gracefully from childhood roles in Miracle on 34th Street to nuanced adult parts like Rebel Without a Cause and West Side Story. After a brief retirement in the late 60s, Wood was restarting her career in 1981 at age 43. That November, she drowned under disputed circumstances while boating off California's Catalina Island with husband Robert Wagner and actor Christopher Walken. On the night of November 28, 1981, Wood, Wagner, and Walken and the boat's captain, Dennis Davern, had dinner and drinks on Catalina. Accounts vary about the night's events, but at some point it was noticed that Wood and the yacht's dinghy were missing. After further searching, Wagner radioed for help at 1:30 a.m. Wood's body was found about a mile from the yacht at 8 a.m. the next morning. The coroner listed her cause of death as accidental drowning, noting her blood alcohol level of 0.14%. But the timeline raised concerns, as did Wood's lifelong fear of dark water. The boat's captain went public in 2011, claiming Wagner was responsible for the death. The case was reopened and Wood's cause of death was revised to drowning and other undetermined factors in 2012. In 2018, Wagner was named a person of interest. He's declined to discuss that night. Dorothy Stratten. With her blonde hair, bright smile, and voluptuous figure, Dorothy Stratten embodied the quintessential girl-next-door beauty. In 1960, she entered the world in Vancouver, Canada, and as a teen, she supported herself, working at a local Dairy Queen. It was there that Stratten's wholesome beauty first caught the eye of Paul Snider, a small-time hustler in Vancouver, always looking to make his next score. Recognizing her photogenic qualities, Snider persuaded Stratten to pose nude for photos, which he then sent to Playboy. Soon, she was named Playmate of the Month, and then Playmate of the Year in 1980. Seemingly overnight, this shy teen found herself living at the Playboy Mansion and mingling with celebrities. As her modeling career took off, she also started getting small acting roles. Her appearances in comedies like Skate Town, USA, and fantasy flicks like Galaxina earned her notice, and she seemed on the verge of mainstream stardom after landing a part in Peter Bogdanovich's 1981 comedy, They All Laughed. Tragically, Stratten never went on to fully realize her talents. As her career blossomed, she became estranged from Snider, her controlling husband and manager. After she left him for Bogdanovich, the increasingly jealous Snider lured the 20-year-old to their former home under the pretense of discussing a financial settlement. After luring Stratten aside, the violently jealous Snider revealed his true intentions. He brutally bound and sexually assaulted the 20-year-old actress. Snider then murdered Stratten with a blast from a 12-gauge shotgun to her face before turning the gun on himself. The brutal murder of the young playmate shocked the public and became a cautionary tale about the dark side of Playboy's hedonistic philosophy. Rebecca Schaeffer. Rebecca Schaeffer was a radiant talent whose star burned bright but all too briefly. Born in 1967 in Oregon, Schaeffer charmed her family from childhood by enthusiastically reciting poems and nursery rhymes. She started landing minor TV and film roles while still a teen. In 1986, the 19-year-old Schaeffer scored the biggest role of her career, the lead in the sitcom My Sister Sam, opposite veteran actress Pam Dauber. Though the show only ran for a season and a half, it made Schaeffer a familiar face in millions of homes each week. With her luminous beauty, sincere warmth, and undeniable likability on screen, it seemed certain that greater fame lay ahead. But tragically, her life and promising career were cut short when she was murdered in 1989 at age 21 by an obsessed stalker. Robert John Bardo had fixated on Schaeffer after seeing her on TV. He obtained her home address by paying $250 to a private investigator, information that was shockingly easy to acquire at the time. Showing up unannounced at her LA apartment, Bardo shot Schaeffer when she answered the door. This served as the catalyst for California to enact the nation's first anti-stalking laws. But while Schaeffer's death brought about change, it also robbed the world of a talent only beginning to be fully realized. Now it's time to hear from you. Had they lived longer, which actress do you think would have achieved the greatest fame? Let us know in the comments section below.